Welcome back to the Budget Gamer channel, where we bring you critical and in-depth reviews of just about every indie game we can get our hands on, and today we're going to be taking a look at Syrup and the Ultimate Suite for Nintendo Switch. In this game, I gotta say, first impressions, it's just heartwarming. But moving straight into the story as we always do, as a visual novel style game, there really isn't much to start with. The whole point of the visual novel is to kind of figure out the story as you go, or actually develop it on your own. And so the way that our story begins is playing as Syrup, who is a traditional style candy maker in a magical town. Syrup finds herself in her shop one morning confronted with the existence of a magical candy golem. A golem, of course, normally being an automaton made from stone and powered by magic, but in the case of this cutesy adventure, our golem is made purely from candy. Syrup herself, as a traditional style Candy Alchemist, relies mostly on science and kind of just disapproves of magic in general. And so, being confronted with a very good-natured and affectionate candy golem sets off our story in a pretty unique direction. As a visual novel style game, again, you're pretty much just going to be locked into a gameplay consisting of decision trees. And whether you're deciding to dissect and eat your newfound candy golem, or maybe even help a friend out in the cold, it'll be up to you to make your own decisions and navigate your own path through Syrup and the Ultimate Suite's 10 different game endings. The decisions, though, aren't too terribly complicated and pretty much just consist of deciding whether or not to perform a certain action. But despite being so painfully simple, as an apparent yes or no style question can be, every decision you make is going to decide which scenarios you're thrown into, and ultimately which game ending you're going to get. But aside from the gameplay style and the simplicity of the decision trees, one thing every player is going to notice is the character development within Syrup and the Ultimate Suites is actually one of its best points. Reading through the dialogue of the game, the personalities of each of the characters is really well developed. And even though the game's cast is actually pretty sparse with only 4 or 5 characters to interact with, all of the characters' dialogue is just about as cute as the game's imagery, and all the situations you find yourself in are fairly relatable to the player. And it's for these lovingly crafted scenarios, as well as for the game's objectively short length, that a player's probably going to be left wanting more by the time they come to the final ending credits. Syrup and the Ultimate Suite can easily be accomplished in a run of about 30 to 45 minutes. Now, there are 10 different endings of the game, as mentioned before, so there is a bit of replayability, but moving away from the gameplay style and the general mechanics, it's time to talk about the visuals and the audio. The visuals in the game, again, are absolutely gorgeous. They are as simple as the story itself, but in all honesty, that's not a bad thing for the kind of game this is. And the game's audio soundtrack as well is just as positive and upbeat as the entire game's subtextual message. Looking at Syrup and the Ultimate Suite as a total package, though, there's really not much anyone could say negative about it other than its duration and possibly the fact that its story is pretty straightforward and a little bit predictable. It's a short game with characters that you really just want some more time with. And even though it does have a multitude of endings, the right path is fairly predictable and kind of negates some of the incentive to replay through the game. But being completely honest, there's no way I could say that I didn't enjoy my time playing through Syrup and the Ultimate Suite. It was warm and thoughtful and sincere, and it was a pretty decent break from roving through dungeon mazes and slaughtering bosses. But again, being completely honest, as a half-hour-long game, I think most gamers, especially console gamers, would say that it'd be more attractive if it were on a pretty significant sale. But anyway, as a fairly straightforward and very short game, that does about wrap up the review of Syrup and the Ultimate Suite now on the Nintendo Switch, as well as a multitude of other consoles. So if you liked the review, or especially if you found it helpful, feel free to throw me a comment or a like to show your support, and don't forget to click that little bell icon when you subscribe to stay updated with the latest content. As you can see, there are literally thousands of indies out there, and new and unique ones are coming out every single day, so there's always going to be some new game to find out about right here. And whether it's an easy hard pass or an absolute unforgettable gem, you can trust that I'm going to have it on this channel. But whether you're one of our original subscribers or this is the first Budget Gamer channel video you've ever clicked on, there's a few different ways you can get involved. You can check out our Instagram page to get some one-sentence reviews of these games, or follow us on Twitter to see what I'm up to. Or if you really want to support the channel, we do have a Patreon page, or you can even check out some merchandise on Teespring. And all of those links are in the top right corner of our channel's banner. But anyway, this has been the Budget Gamer, so as always, thanks for watching.